Hi everybody and welcome back to the Going For It Sim Studio. Today we're going to talk about a lesson in adversity and the game of golf. Now I set out on a wild challenge to attempt to break 80 outside for my very first ever round of golf by only learning on an indoor simulator, my About Golf simulator right here. Now we're at about a year and 5 months, so clearly there has been a few hiccups along the way, so we're going to talk about those, so a nice little challenge update. But we're also going to talk about what I've learned along that process regarding learning the game of golf, and maybe even a few things that you can avoid so that you don't end up in the same position that I am. Let's just get straight into it. So we're going to cover the two types of golfers and the adversity they might face, and then we're going to talk about my situation and the challenge and why the heck I have not played outside yet. And I promise you want to stay for the end because you're going to laugh at the latest reason why I've had to push the challenge a couple more weeks. Okay, so there are two types of golfers. You have the first type, who are the type of golfer that wants to go out and just have a great time. Their score, their swing means nothing to them. The type of adversity they're going to face is going to be a lot more along the lines of what courses they can get into, what tee times they can get, and where people fall before and after them and how much waiting they're going to have. The second type of golfer is the golfer like me. It's the hyper-focused, it's the score that we're chasing, and how can we get there? Golf is impossible. It's an impossible game, and if you don't accept the fact that you're going to have to work through the adversity of the golf game, you're going to have a really hard time getting even close to that score that you're chasing. So what is that adversity exactly? Well, if you're brand new to golf, talk to a few golfers and ask them how they're playing. And you're going to get a few different answers. The one you're probably going to get is, okay, I was playing better before. The golf swing changes. You change. You could play fantastic for a few weeks and then all of a sudden, boom, you lost it. It can happen mid-round. But how do you deal with that? You have to be able to look at that from afar and say, okay, I accept that I'm going to have some peaks and some valleys. And here's how we get through that. I absolutely recommend getting a coach that you can work with for the long term and trust the process so that if you do have a little yip in your swing, you can get it fixed. Now, there's a lot of people out there that believe the yips are just mental. I agree with that. I think that there gets to be a point where you're just forgetting about something and you need to go see your coach to get it fixed. It's not the type of game that you want to have somebody that can fix one thing at a time. Like this guy fixes my slice, this guy can fix this. I go see this person, they'll fix my takeaway. It's not how it is. Like the one thing I can tell you that I can bring over from cycling is trusting the process. You want to work with somebody long term so that you can understand your golf swing and that your specific golf swing stays on the trajectory that you're after to hit that score that you're chasing. So, what the heck have I faced that has caused this challenge to just keep getting delayed? Well, because I'm a dreamer and I wear rose-colored glasses, I look at this big, bright finish and think, I'm gonna golf for a year, I'm gonna go play outside and we're gonna do our best to break 80. But I forget to look at the little things like my past, how my past athletics come into introducing a brand new movement in game into the current muscular structure that I have built over the last 12 years riding bikes. Now, one thing that I was always really lazy on while I was racing was doing strength training. I was just lazy. You know, I spent so much time riding that I had other things to do, my family, my job. I couldn't fit anything else in, and a lot of the times I just really didn't want to. So what happened was, because a lot of what I did, I was in this position, come from motocross to mountain bike to road, you know, a lot of it's here, and my back muscles were basically overstretched. And from separated shoulder injuries I have a winged shoulder blade that had basically had my traps and my rhomboids trying to hold on to my shoulder blades to keep them from falling off my body. In 2018, I had a freak accident crash and I had a perch C5-6 fracture in my neck. So if you combine all of this stuff together, what I was doing while golfing, because I had a few pulled muscles here and there, introducing a twisting sport into somebody who's never done it, expected. However, I spent all winter and fall doing yoga and stretching my back to prevent golf injury. And what I further did was overstretched muscles. I pulled a muscle in April and it actually ended up fracturing some of my spinous processes in my T1 and T2. Now, whether it was the muscle from golfing or whatever the heck caused it, we don't know. But it was an injury that for normal people, it wouldn't have been a huge deal. But for me, because I had this specific neck injury, it threw my nervous system into guard, which basically just completely shut my upper back down. And that meant I could not golf. It happened. I thought I got over it. I started playing again. It happened again, except worse this time, where my upper back was finally just like, you're done. And I was fully back in guard. I couldn't move. It was as if I re-broke my neck. So we started scans. We started going and seeing my neuros again and trying to get all this figured out. Turns out I just had a little fracture that wouldn't have been a big deal for anybody else and probably wouldn't even have noticed it. But because of my past injuries and my lack of strengthening and stretching my upper body, it was a perfect storm, and it just completely took this challenge and said, nope, you're not going outside and playing golf anytime soon. So I got that taken care of. I started doing a lot of body work. When I laid on the massage table for the first time, because massage is something I never did, my shoulders were actually 2.5 inches off the table. That's how bowed in my chest was. So we've been working a lot on that to get it back, get the pressure off that upper thoracic, and it's worked, and I'm able to start to play golf again. And I started getting excited, and I'm like, hey, we've already pushed this through a long winter, which was the reason for the first stall. And I was playing the best golf I'd ever have. So you want to talk about adversity? Let's talk about it. The best golf I'd ever played. I felt so good. I actually played around from the blacks just for fun, to see, because I had decent distance at that time, and I shot 2 over. It was the first time I ever played around where I sat at the tee box and I did not think about what is this swing going to do, where is this ball going to go. It was majority of them, actually all the balls were playable off the tee, and the majority of them were in the fairway. And I was able to tee off, hit my approach shot, get a putt in. I was only 2 over because I was even through 16 and I just let it get to my head through 17 and 18. Mental stuff that I have to learn. Felt great. Bam. Get hurt. Big time. Have to deal with this injury for 2.5, 3 months. Just would not heal. Incredibly frustrating for me. You know, a lot of the thought of like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this for the game of golf? And the answer on that one is because I absolutely love it. And I honestly don't think golf was the issue. It was me. It was me not being prepared, not looking forward and saying, hey, you do need to make sure you take care of yourself. Just because I'm an athlete doesn't mean that, you know, complete story is there and that I can do whatever the heck I want. And I am 38 years old. So, you know, there's that too, right? Age comes into it. Continuing to ride bikes, stressed out at my work, stressed out with family stuff. Perfect storm, blew up my back. So we're back there, right? Finally figured out, start playing golf again. I lose my turn for the most part. I had a really good turn, and a lot of that's gone. And so I got to figure out a way to play around that. So there's some changes I have to make to the swing, which is why I work with Jeff Ritter to help me make those changes so that I can get out there and have the best swing I can. And so here's the funny part. This is the best part. Are you ready? So I finally say, let's go. We're finally there. Let's go set a tee time. I go visit Meadow Lakes Golf Course in Prineville, Oregon. I get a, hey, here's the golf cart. Go check it out. We get the filming stuff. The idea's ready. We're good to go. The crew's pumped. We set a date for August 8th. The following day, I'm cleaning up the living room with my wife. And I was going to trick shot a pillow off the floor onto the couch because the kids were down there setting up forts. So there's a kettlebell under that pillow, and I just walloped it. And now I can't walk, I can't play. You know, this was about a week and a half ago, and I got to stop again. So I finally set my tee time, and I get it ready to go, and I'm excited. My game's finally coming back, and I kick a kettlebell under a pillow. What is the golf gods telling me? What are they saying? Jeremy, you're never going to play outside. The closer you get, I'm just going to continue to pound these injuries that keep you from golfing. It has been wild. It has been absolutely incredible. I just want to go play outside, and these things just keep falling down on me really hard. So what do? Mentally, you stay positive. It's just an injury. It'll heal. The challenge is going to happen when the challenge happens. It's going to work out. It's going to be soon. I'm gonna push that date 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that by, 21st-ish of August, we're gonna be able to get outside, get this filmed, and get this challenge completed as I go to break 80. So while I'm trying to heal up so that I can go for it, please like, follow, and subscribe so that when I do finally get there, I get to share my experience and teach everybody how to break 80 in a year, because I think it's possible. And when we get there, I'm gonna tell you how. Get out there and practice. Have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll see you next time.